finals the first year, but you know, the embracement that you guys gave me, the support, and me and my guys came, you know, giving it our all, and there we were, and here we are now.
That's right, yeah.
You know, the thing about what you're saying is that you come off as someone much deeper than a guy who only knew 3 blues songs in 2013. And one of the things about what we do is that, you know, I mean, you had 26 years of gospel experience. I mean, and you know, in general, for all of us, the more stage experience we've gotten, the more studio experience, whatever, you know, your shit just gets deeper. And you know, I feel that way about, you know, everyone I've seen on this panel, from the first time I heard about them to where they are now. You know, I was talking to Vanessa, like, you know, for the Legendary Review, I was listening to some of the songs from her record, and her record's really good, but by now, with all of the work she's done, just her tone is deeper and richer and bigger, and her vibe is, you know, so it keeps, and I, you know, listening to, because I think everyone saw Facebook and YouTube videos of Kingfish, just shredding the shit out of it. And he gets on stage now, and like, you know, he's still got all that technical facility, and you know, I mean, he was expressive back then, but there's stuff behind that right now that you can only get from being on stage and playing with people who are better than you, who know more than you, who, you know. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can start out with mastery like Kingfish did, and still get better and deeper.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And again, in the Kingfish show, when you're watching him, all of a sudden he's quoting George Benson or Wes Montgomery in a blues song, and
it's
you go,
unfair.
Yeah. Well, you know, I can see me doing this panel in 50 years. No, I can't really, but I can see me doing this panel in 50 years, and the musicians up here will be saying they didn't hear the blues on their parents' records. They'll be saying what Mike just said. Oh, I watched a YouTube video, and I saw this guy, and he really blew me away. Yeah. Well, we were talking about before, as we went down the road, the musical lessons that you learned from some of these mentors. Can we talk a little bit about how you learned to put yourself, or what you saw when you watched these older musicians? Were you able to see them putting their life into these songs, and how you've taken that lesson?
Well, when I listen at my Big Daddy and Junior Kimbrough, and you know, the guys that I haven't met, you know, like John Lee Hooker, and I think all in music tell a story, and I think that, you know, they actually been there and done that. The reason they can, you know, tell it so good. You know, I think we all been through things, and we all still going through things, and I just think that you know, the music that those guys put out let us know ahead of time, you know, before we even went through it, you know. And then we, you know, came up on that stepping stone to go through those times. You know, we can think about that music, you know.
Yeah. Kingfish?
I second what he said, because I had to sit and think about it for a moment.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, everyone goes through problems, and Lord knows I go through some as well. So
Yeah.
I didn't have to go through, you know, my baby leaving me for someone else. You know what? Yes, I did. It wasn't as bad as John Lee or Muddy, but but I've been through problems. You know, I've been homeless. Lord knows I've been bullied. You know,
Yeah.
so you know,
Yeah.
my problems are no
Modern-day
different.
problems.
Yeah, you know, my problems are no different.
That's right. Yeah. Anyone else, Vanessa? Or?
I think one of the biggest things I've learned, I mean, Freddie King is one of my absolute favorites to watch and listen to. And one of the things that I love about all great artists is that they may be going through something, but you're just going to feel it in the music, and you're going to understand without them telling you. you know, and that's kind of what we do. We're putting on a show, but also we're here to converse with you and talk about our mutual pains. Everybody's been through something, as we're all saying.
Right.
I bet some of y'all going through some things right now.
Absolutely.
That's right, yeah.
So-
Yeah, because the lyrics tell the story, but the music adds an emotional color to the story.
Absolutely.
And I've always said that, you know, I can tell you a real sad story and in 15 minutes I'll have you cry, but any one of you up here can play one minor chord and I got the tear rolling down, you know? And so the music can cut through that emotion so quickly, or cut to it. Mike?
Yeah, well, you know, I come back to the example of B.B. King. I've been thinking a lot about B.B. on this trip. But B.B. was maybe the best storyteller I've ever seen. And, you know, on the famous Live at the Regal record, you know, it's, he's introduced not as the world's greatest blues guitar player, but as the world's greatest blues singer. And to me, there's no distinction. To me, it's like, you know, he steps forward to play a guitar solo. He's still the world's greatest blues singer. He's just doing it through his hands. And, you know, for me, you know, one of the big differences between the blues and some of the stuff I originally, like the sort of like 60s British rock, is a lot of the rock music was about, I'm so tortured and no one understands me. And the blues music is about, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
You know, and my experience is so different as like a white suburban kid from Massachusetts than, you know, some of the people on this panel. It's like, I'm never going to bring what they bring to it. But there is universal stuff that we are all in together. And, you know, I'm under no illusions that I've got the same things to bring, but you know, there is universal stuff that you can tap into. You know.
Yeah, that makes me think about the Guitar Slim record, the things I used to do. And that record was a big influence on me. And I used to just listen to it and love it and trying to play as many licks off it as I could. But it wasn't until you know, I had a bad breakup with the mother of my first child. And it was the first time in my life where I had really, you know, hit rock bottom. And then I put that record on again, and I said, oh man. It was like the first time the lyrics from that record, if you listen to that record, you think, God damn, who did this to poor Guitar Slim? You listen to the lyrics on that record, I mean, you don't even realize it until you're actually connecting with it. But I think it's something to be said. I think I have a saying like, you know, you are who you are, right? You're who you are, like since you're born, pretty much, right? And you're always going to be you. And sometimes you're going to be a great version of yourself, and sometimes you're not. But you're always going to be you. So that, as far as musically, you always have that thing, right? You always have that thing that comes out of you when you play. But of course, as you get older, especially where it relates to the blues, you know, you get older and life gets more complicated and you go through a lot of ups and downs. So then you start to understand, oh, now I get what he's talking about, you know? So it's a process.
I mean, it's amazing the records I listened to when I was 17, 18 years old, and then, you know, you feel like, I'm like, yeah, I get that, and then you come back 10 years later and listen to it, and it's like, you've been through some stuff. I mean, everybody goes through stuff, but you have a deeper understanding of the lyrics and the meanings behind the songs, and it affects you a little more. And I mean, I think that's just time, and everybody goes through that. So I mean, it's great though, because it's kind of, you know, you appreciate the songs a little more when you come back years and years later.
You know, and as someone who's got a brand new CD coming out in, what'd you say, a week to when we get off the boat?
We did a little
What?
advertisement
Little
here.
advertising. So you're writing songs for that new CD.
Yeah.
You're trying to match lyrics with music in there to.
Yeah, I mean, as far as that process goes, it's a little bit different. I mean, sometimes you start with lyrics and then you put music to it. And sometimes I start with the music. I'm like, oh, I better get some great lyrics to go with this. But yeah, I mean, everything, you know, the more records you make, Mike was talking about, your stuff gets deeper. You know, you put more of your personality into it. More stuff has happened to you. You have more to say. Every record is more and more like that.
And I'm going to assume, Castro, that your gospel background really relates to telling a story through the song.
Yes, it does. Another thing for me with the music, especially with the blues now, when I came into the genre, a lot of people at home was like, well, we don't want to hear that sad music, or we all go through problems, we don't want to hear that. And that's fine, and that's cool. But what I tried to do is I try to channel a positive energy. I mean, we all go through stuff, and we all know that. I try not to just keep that in your face. You know, through my music, I try to look at the bright side, the joyful side. And even if I sing about something that's sad or difficult that happened in my life, the joy comes through my solo. Yeah. That's how I channel that thing. You know. And that's the upside of the downside. You get me? That's the upside of the downside. And that's a song. And we need to write that song. Yeah. That brings about the laughing, the dancing, the joy, even the tears. And all tears are not tears of sorrow, but there's tears of joy. You know, because you overcame that situation, or you feel good about the bad things that happened, but you're still here. You still made it through that situation. That's why I try to channel through my quote-unquote blues or music or whatever.
Beautiful. Well, it's amazing to see the healing power of this music. That, you know, it's music that uplifts rather than brings down. And Mike, when he said he came to my school, I just remembered now, he did a show for the students, and I had a girl at the end come up to me and say, I was so depressed and sad when I went in there because, you know, my paper was late and my parents grounded me. She said, but I came out feeling so happy. And it's the music.
That's amazing to hear.
Yeah, I was, you know, stunned by that, and that just showed me the power of what you people all do up there, you know, to turn things around. You know, people always say, are you going to a blues show? Isn't that sad? I go, there's 2,000 people on this boat, ain't nobody crying. But they're tears of joy.
And they're cathartic sometimes.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm letting stuff out.
Yep. How many people cry their eyes out when Castro does A Change Is Gonna Come? Yeah, absolutely. Well, the last question I'll throw to you guys, and we lost Cedric because he's got a performance coming up, but the last question is, you know, you're sort of, even though you're only 18, you're sort of in the middle, all of you, of that ladder. You know, you've got the people still above you, the Kebs, the Tajes, the Buddies, and then you've got young people coming below you. So you are carrying a torch that's been passed through. Can you talk a little bit about how that feels, or what you feel what you feel is your responsibility in that middle rung of the ladder? You didn't know this was going to be an essay test, did you? This ain't no multiple choice.
You know me, Art. I think in complete paragraphs.
Yeah.
I gotta say it's weird. You know, I started going to blues jams when I was 11. I started playing gigs when I was 13. I made my first record when I was 16, for which you wrote the liner notes. And then, I played with a bunch of people, sort of simultaneously to starting to do my own thing. But then when I was about 19 or 20, I took a break, and that's when I played with James Cotton and joined Sugar Ray and the Blue Tones. So I feel like I went back to do my apprenticeship in some ways. and I went from people knowing who I was to being relatively anonymous for a while. But I've been the youngest guy in the band my whole life until about 5 years ago. And, you know, but I've been playing gigs for 27 years or whatever it is. So it's very interesting looking at the changing demographic of this, you know. That, you know, right now I've got this band we're putting together with Mike Ledbetter, and you know, he's only 6 years younger than me, but he's only been playing gigs out for 7 or 8 years. So, so I've got a lot of experience on him, and you know, it's weird. It's weird having, you know, not being the youngest. It's also incredibly gratifying when the younger people are so ridiculously good. You know, it's, you know, I do kind of wonder why the demographic of the musicians changed so much, but the audience didn't come. I feel like everyone I know under the age of 50 who fell in love with this music decided to start playing it. You know, instead of necessarily going out to shows or just buying records or being fans. But yeah, no, it's encouraging.
Yeah. So Samantha and Vanessa, do you find young girls are now kind of gathering in front of you at the stage and sort of maybe thinking, I want to do what she's doing?
It's kind of cool. I mean, I see a lot of young guys too. Like it's both genders, but I think just seeing somebody close to your age, you know, connecting those dots for you. You know, I saw that a lot when I was like 18 years old and I was going to blues clubs around Kansas City. Knuckleheads was my primary. And I was seeing contemporary artists like Tab and One, Mike Zito, and Tommy Castro, and Michael Burks, you know, playing this music right in front of me. It was so inspiring. I was like, wow, I mean, I never, you know, point A to point B, like I didn't see the path, you know. But it is really cool to see little girls at the shows like saying, I you know, because when I was a kid, it took seeing a female to play an instrument for me to go like, oh yeah, it's like within my wheelhouse. I don't know why, it just seemed like lead electric guitar, I only saw guys doing it, and which is really weird, and I had this like block in my head until I was about 18 years old, and I didn't give a shit anymore. I was like, whatever, I'm gonna do what I want. But it was kind of a block for me for a second. I'm like, well, girls don't do that, you know. But it's cool to see little kids like, oh, I'm a girl, I can play guitar, and I can do it. I'm like, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. You can do what you're 55% of the population. You can do whatever you want. It's all open to you. Guys.
Yeah. And Castro and Kingfish, are you seeing younger African Americans in Mississippi gravitating to the music you're playing, and you now have to become a teacher instead of a 3-song star?
3 songs must be great.
I really do, and for me it's all races. What's amazing and very important to me that we're chosen to carry the torch, and that's a big responsibility as players, band leaders, and I'm grateful in such a short period of time. And I keep saying it because I've only been doing this now for 5 years, you know, on this side, to carry the torch, but to be that leader, be that inspiration for not just young musicians, but older musicians as well. On this cruise, I've met the last 3 cruises, I met so many players, you know, that a lot of times don't get a chance to do the pro jam, but we jammed in the crow's nest the last couple of years. It's just to put the fire up under their feet. And even now back at home, the younger cats that's come down to the club when I'm working down there, and maybe after I'm doing some work, we turn on an amp or whatever, and we just start shaking out, and they asking me questions. I was their kid for a long time, and I learned how to serve, and I teach them it's very important to know how to serve. I served for 20 years, you know, with all of this in me. I was a great servant, you know. Whatever my band leader needed me to do, I did. Not just what he asked me to do, but anything extra, from toting his bags to, you know, toting his shoes, toting his guitar, you know, doing sound check for him, making sure everything he needed, you know, was there before he got there, teaching me how to be a leader in this time now. So I'm grateful, and I see the change. I see it coming. I'm grateful for it.
I was really blown away on this cruise, especially watching Mr. Sip's band and Kingfish's band, and to see these young cats, you know, because you know, blues has been around as the root of everything, but just to see younger players coming up and it's part of their culture, it's part of where they're from, and it's really been, if this, I guess what I'm trying to say is I feel this energy coming off all these young players, and it's vibrant and it's alive and it's growing, and it's so powerful, and it's so fun. Like if you could have, if you came to the Pro Jam last night, you could have seen everybody hanging out back here in this 30 by, you know, 10 by 30 area over here. Just so much camaraderie and just spirit. So I think my biggest takeaway from being here, and thank you so much for having us to be a part of it, and just to feel that this thing is so alive and it's coming up strong, and it's coming up stronger than ever. To me, it feels just real.
Well, we're just about at the end of our 1 hour blues song in here. And once again, let's give it up for Kingfish. Giving up your time today. Vanessa Collier. Monster Mike Welch. G-Love. Samantha Fish. And Mr. Sip, Castro Coleman. Okay, I've just been handed the winner of the award. No. We've got some weather challenges. John Namath is going to not be here. He'll be in the Crow's Nest at 2 o'clock. Tajmo will be in here at 2 o'clock instead of on the back deck. And the awards party will be in here at 3:30. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Blues Music Magazine is over there. Please come up and take one. Oh, I know what I want to say before I let you go. Almost everybody on here has been nominated for a Blues Music Award at some point. We've got a couple of winners. Someone will be once he gets a CD out there.
Let me clarify. Let me take over myself. Right after we leave here and we do like another overseas show, I come back to Nashville and I record my album, and the guy that's producing it, Tom Hendricks, he told me like a few weeks ago, he said, man, we're gonna have to get this out ASAP. So he was like, man, like the minute we finish the album, I want to master it, and it should be done at least by February or March. So you guys are gonna look out for that.
And just like G-Love, Kev Moe was sitting with Kingfish yesterday, and they were talking about getting together and doing some writing for that CD. Just watch the vocal lessons. But what I want to let everybody know is the way that you win a Blues Music Award is through fan voting, and members of the Blues Foundation are the fans who get to vote for the Blues Music Awards. The Blues Foundation has a table set up on the pool deck at midship. Joe and Sarah are there. I think the membership is $25, and with your membership, you get to vote on the ballot of nominees, which will come out probably in late December, early January. And the Blues Music Awards are held every May down in Memphis, Tennessee. So I think Castro, did your band win?
I won 2015 Best New Artist Album.
Best New Artist Album right there. Samantha will give it the award show. Yes, and the award show in Memphis it's like the cruise. You know, you're in this beautiful theater with 5 hours of music. Samantha, did you win an award also?
I did. I think it was 2012, the best debut for Runaway.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Yep. And I know Mike Welch is a perennial guitar nominee.
Well, actually, no. Only had two guitars.
Okay, so not perennial then.
But Sugar Ray and the Blue Tones, when I was in the band, I think last year we had more nominations than anyone in history.
Yeah.
We had 10 nominations.
Yes.
Sugar Ray and the Blue Tones has never won an award. I'm not in that band anymore, but please,
Now they'll win.
if they show up on the ballot, vote for them because they deserve it.
So, you know, we ask your support for the Blues Foundation. Any support you can give helps keep musicians thriving, and to be able to say we have an award, I'm an award winner, means a lot on your bios. Yeah. So again, come up, take a magazine, our gift to you. Thank you very much, everybody.